listening to Lagoon Radio.
Good morning to you once again. Yeah, it's your beautiful people here from Lagoonradio, your number one online gospel radio station, powered by the Diocese of Lagos Anglican Communion. Of course, it's about time for the newspaper review. But before we get right into it, you can like and follow us on Facebook at Lagoon Radio Nigeria, on Instagram, and Twitter is at Lagoon Radio NG. Pending the time, Twitter would be. The ban will be lifted. All right. You can also tell your family and friends to listen via our website on www.lagoonradio.ng for more info and entertainment here 24/7. My name is Taiwo Adiola Shabulegbe, and with me in the studio is Nena Abigail Umba. Sorry.
I'll sue you. It's people like you. You are the reason why I want to go and study law, so that I can be dealing with you personally. Can't be murdering my name without even apology.
Okay, sorry.
It's not that kind of apology
sorry,
I want.
Nena.
Today is National Kissing Day.
Okay, should I come and
Today
kiss
is International Kissing Day.
Should I come and kiss you?
I don't know. I not say. I'm just telling you.
No, I'll kiss you. Wait, hold on first. So they won't be thinking otherwise. Good morning. How are you today?
I'm okay. I could be better though, you know.
And also my producer is right here beside me. Good morning, producer.
Good morning, producer.
Why you calling her government name? Why you calling her federal government name?
Oh, let me call her federal government proper name.
Oh, so it's really
Simidele Olabisi Ajayi. Okay.
All right. Good morning, beautiful people. How you doing? Hope you're doing great today.
Yes, but there's something strange about these two ladies here. If you notice, you really need to see them. So that's why you really need to go to her YouTube channel, LagoonTV. You need to see what they are wearing. I'm not going to tell you what they are wearing.
What are you wearing?
Well, there's a slight difference.
What are you wearing?
There is a slight
What's
difference.
the difference? I'm wearing your eyeglass does not have brown in it.
You have brown.
What are we not talking? My skin is brown.
We'll continue this conversation during the afternoon drive show. But in no particular order, we will be reviewing this the newspaper, the Nigerian Tribune, New Telegraph, Daily Trust, Blueprint, Daily Asset, Vanguard, Business Day, News Direct, Daily Sun, Nigerian Pilot, People's Daily. And we'll try as much as possible to cover up all these newspapers because we've got lots and lots. In no particular order, like I said, we'll be starting with this day. Emefiele at the very top of it, 6 varsities partnership to develop entrepreneurship. And the writer to that story says, pledges more support for MSMEs. And you can continue reading the story on page 5 of this day newspaper. Senate bows to pressure to restore electronic transfer of result. Well, that story is on page 12 of this day newspaper. And boldly written on the front page, we can see Afenifere Ohaneze, Pandev back Southern governors demand for presidency. And the writer to that says, states to promulgate anti-open grazing law by September 1st. Also reject 3% host community fund in PIB. And lastly, on the rider, it says, kick against 30% share of profit for frontier exploration.
Wow.
All this story you can continue reading on page 5 as well of this day newspaper. Clerk rejects PIB, insists on 10% fund for host communities. This story you can find on page 8 of this day newspaper. Moving on.
And moving on to the Nigerian Tribune, you can see it at the top there. PIB give host communities 10% or we reject IOCs. Clerks warns National Assembly. And the rider under that says reject 30% NNPC profit for frontier exploration. That can be found on page 2. And still on the Nigerian Tribune, DSS invasion. Federal government should apologize to Igonho. Soyinka has come out to say, there will be uproar if truth about Kanu's arrest comes out. That can be be found on page 8, and this just leads me to ask: do you think that the federal government actually owes Sunday Igboho an apology? I mean,
Sunday Igboho an apology.
does the federal government owe him an apology? And what is this truth that Wole Soyinka could be talking about regarding Kalu's arrest? Anyway, all of this can be found on page 6 of the Nigerian Tribune. Southern governors decide next president must come from South. Anti-grazing law timeline is September 1st. The Southern governors actually had a meeting on Monday in Ikeja in Lagos State. They all came together, and this is preceding their first meeting that they had in May, sometime in May of this year. So this is the second meeting that they're having, and they're still backing the anti-grazing law, and they're still saying that the next president, Ojiri, where Nigeria is a state, I don't know, the next president of Nigeria should come from the South. Well,
it's not by saying alone. I think they need to put more action.
I'm asking, who do they want to present?
It's
one thing to be clamoring that, okay, yes, the fairness.
It's another thing to take actions, and
what's the action?
Who
do they have? Do they have?
That's it.
Who do they have that can actually lead this country? Yes, there's supposed to be rotation of the presidency amongst all the
geopolitical
zone of Nigeria. Yes, quite all right, but if you don't have a worthy candidate, what is the need to clamor for it? I'm not saying they don't have. I'm asking, who do they have? If by this time they don't have somebody that they're already fronting, that we can say, okay, this is who we expect.
Yes.
That in 2023, when we start seeing their poster, we already recognize that, oh, this is who it is. If by now there's no face, there's no individual or group of people that we can say, oh, this person might be running for election to represent the south or whatever part of the South that they want, then they are not doing the right thing. So they obviously don't have a worthy candidate yet, as far as I'm concerned. Anyway, the rider under that is that they reject removal of electronic transmission of results from Electoral Act, and then they also reject proposed 30% share of profit for exploration of oil and gas in the basins, reject 3% equity shares for crude produced in communities, and they want governors informed of any security operations in their state. They also want funds deducted from the federation account for Nigerian Police Security Trust Fund distributed among states. This can be found on page 2 of the Nigerian Tribune, and then still on the Nigerian Tribune, Kwara APC crisis over campaign fund gets messier. That can be found on page 23. Oyo APC stakeholders close ranks, vow to unseat Makinde in 2023. Wow. I thought some people say they will sue Makinde if he doesn't even run for presidency. So who are they?
Wow.
Who is now?
Wow.
Wow. They have a candidate from the South. From the South then. Now they want to sue him.
Minister collapsed at event in Bauchi, rushed to teaching hospital. That can be found on page 3. I don't know why I'm laughing, but we're going to say this.
I hope it's not what I'm thinking again.
Oh, okay. Bandits kidnap 140 students in Kaduna. Police rescue 26 out of 140. Government closes 13 schools. And the rider under that, angry parents block Kacha Kaduna Road. All of this can be found on page 27. Yoruba Nation rally. Falana launches a legal battle over sales girl shot dead in Lagos State. And also the family of the girl are saying by the time the results come out and they know who fired the bullet, they might be suing the Lagos State government and the Commissioner of Police also. So,
and I hope they get to tell us where the bullet comes
they'll carry us along. Police, that can be found on page 5. Police foil attack on checkpoint. Arrest 4 ESN/IPOB members in Imo State. That can be found on page 27. Parent cries out over death of 14-year-old SS1 boarding student in Abuja. That can also be found on page 26 of the Nigerian Tribune newspaper.
All right, and moving to New Telegraph, boldly written on New Telegraph, Buhari's successor must come from South. Okay, Southern governors, and the rider under that, FLA Selective Criminal Justice Administration objects to NMPC's ownership structure in PIB, as ACF Kicks says governor's position unconstitutional. Wow. And zoning gang up against the North ADP chair. We can see that on page 2 of the New Telegraph. And right at the top of the New Telegraph, 36 investors move to buy Nigeria's power plant. Wow. 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 As in, wow.
They will buy
Hey.
it now. They will.
We are in for it. Okay. And the rider on the dot says no going back to plant sales, says federal government. As electricity workers threaten strike over TCN. Please don't.
What do you expect?
Please don't go on strike.
I mean,
If you
they
not
just
strike,
to connected
And
my
the
life.
funny thing is that we are at the receiving end because all these things falls back to the
They should
people.
not strike,
because
I beg.
the thing is, if you now go on strike, that means still will be worse.
Worse.
Please just leave us where we are. Please don't just. I beg you. Okay, oil price exceeds $77, hits 2.5-year high. We can get that on page 8 of the New Telegraph, and right at the corner of the New Telegraph, increase in cover price. Oh, wow. Okay, you can read that at the front page of the New Telegraph. What's actually the increase in the cover price? Then concerning IPOB, I think Kanu was kidnapped, says
Not arrested.
says Wole Soyinka. Wole Soyinka says
Soyinka,
he thinks Kanu was kidnapped. Okay, let's think. Was he really kidnapped? Kidnapped, arrested. Kidnap is different from arrest. Okay. But anyway, Wole Soyinka is a grammarian. Is yeah. So
You can tell the difference between kidnap
no, the
and
meaning of
arrest.
his kidnap might be kind of idiomatic. You know, it can be an idiomatic expression. So yeah, so we need to get the literal meaning.
It's actually. I didn't even expect that Wole Soyinka would speak up a lot on Kano's side, because ever since Kano was arrested, and not just Kano, even for Sunday Igboho, he has actually been speaking up on their behalf, and I'm wondering, what does he know that we don't know? Okay? I mean, he has actually come out to say if the truth about Kano's arrest is revealed, there's going to be uproar. So what is that's what I'm asking? What is the truth? What does he know? You know, and I hope that he's safe. Whatever, will not come here. Our Nobel laureate, you know, gray hairs all over his head. That's what I'm saying.
Okay, still on the New Telegraph, the rider on the dot, Wole Soyinka warns of backlash, Ford's IPOB leaders hate rhetorics. We can get that on page 3 of the New Telegraph. And PIB clerk spits fire over past bill, 6 reversal, says 30% provision of frontier exploration wasteful. Also warns IOCs of imminent unrest, denial to oil field. Can get that on page 3 of the New Telegraph. And concerning our health, we can still get that on page 26 of the New Telegraph. Study links too little sunlight to colon cancer risk. Wow.
All right, because of our time, there are more stories on the front page, but we might not be taking that. We'll be moving on to the Blueprint newspaper. All right, bandits abduct Bethel school student and teachers. You can get the story on page 6, and the writer under that says, "Please rescue 27, horrify others, dossier of 13 schools. Kebbi Group gives 7 days for Yahoo student release." All this you can get on page 6 of the Blueprint newspaper. I have no plans to float any political party. Obasanjo. Well, if you're so much interested, which I know you are, you can get the story on page 8 of the Blueprint newspaper. We've taken this before. Despite federal government caution on open grazing ban, the southern governors fixed September 1st for takeoff. And the writer under that says, security agents must notify us before any operations. Insist on president of southern extraction. Reject Senate 3% equity to host oil communities. Okay, Rev'd 5 All these you can get on page page 6 of the Blueprint newspaper. And at the very side of it, we have PIB, Dangote Refinery, 5 others to buy crude in Nigeria. You can find these in page 20 of the Blueprint. Foreign reserves plunge as Nigeria loses $2.1 billion in 6 months. I saw a newspaper headline, and it says that citizens will have to pay
217,000 naira. Each person.
Each citizen.
So Abigail, increase. Let me show Abigail's face. Abigail, so you need to increase your also so that you can make 217,000 naira, because the debt we are actually sitting on right now, it requires each citizen of the country to repay 217,000 naira.
I'm from UAR. I don't know what you're talking about.
You're from UAR.
You don't know what you're talking about. Where's UAR? Where's Nigeria?
I'm from UAR.
So fasten your seatbelt.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Fasten your seatbelt. Double your also.
My seatbelt is fastened. I don't know what you're talking about.
Bless you, sister.
Thanks.
Okay, so you can get that on page 21 of the Blueprint newspaper. And at the very bottom of it, we have Nigerians spend 60 billion naira on pipeline repairs. Loses 200,000 BPD. You can get this also on page 20 of the Blueprint. Again, Taraba NLC chair abducted. Abigail, why now?
Somebody cannot laugh again. Is it your laugh? You said the way you said it again, as in
I'm reading what is here,
and I'm listening to what you are reading,
and you are reacting to it. That's a good one, anyway. So you can get the story on page 9. Kano anti-corruption Caesar Muhuyi suspended. Can get this on page 15 of the Blueprint. Malaria vaccine ready in 2 years. UNICEF. You can get this also.
It? Like, no, which people are formulating the vaccine? Which country? Which people?
Well, the story is on page. It's quite tiny.
It's not the one that they will finish now. They will say more antibodies.
But UNICEF has come to say that malaria vaccine would be ready in 2 years. So you can get the story and the full gist on page. It looks like page 15, 16 of the Blueprint.
I think apart from malaria vaccine, we need poverty vaccine as well.
Poverty vaccine is money.
We need poverty vaccine as well.
Once there's money, nobody will fall sick.
Because it's like everything is getting vaccine, get vaccinated. Now, to me, if I have malaria, if I tell you I have malaria, please just credit my account. The malaria will go.
Malaria she has. It's not malaria.
I have malaria.
All right, Nim Massa bans substandard vessels from ship registry. You can get the story on page 22 of the Blueprint newspaper. Quickly, Abigail.
Okay, we're going to quickly move to the Vanguard newspaper. At the top there, you can see electricity, 1.5 trillion trillion naira investment turns sour. Power coils suffer inadequate capacity. That can be found on page 22. Electoral law without electronic transmission of results, invitation of anarchy. That can be found on page 13. Why it will be difficult for any governor to beat Governor Wike's achievements in Rivers State. Wow. Honorable Toyin Adoki has come out to say. You can read why. You can find out the why when you look at page 21 of the Vanguard newspaper. 36 investors express interest in federal government power plant. That can be found on page 19. The Southern Governors Forum meeting in Lagos. You see all the official with the agbada, with the everything they do where there is there. We must federal government security operatives in our state. These are the demands of the Southern Governors. You can find out more of their demands on page 5 of the Vanguard newspaper. Bandits attack another Kaduna school, adopt 150 students. How many students are now remaining in the community? I'm not aware. We spend 60 billion naira annually to repair vandalized pipelines. Federal government is crying out. That can be found on page 9 of the Vanguard newspaper. unremitted funds. NCDMB recovers $100 million from oil companies. That can be found on page 8. 42 CSOs alleged plot by National Assembly to manipulate key provisions of Electoral Amendment Bill. That can be found on page 8. The column is okay, yes, that can be found on page 8 of the Vanguard newspaper. I think that's the much we can take.
All right, let's quickly take Business Day newspapers. Boldly written, Nigeria's wheat demand surges as Gary rice prices spike. Miller's import record 2.8 MMT in Q1 in 2021 as Kuwait's $700 billion future generation fund mocks Nigeria's break plan. We can get it on the Business Day papers, and right on the inside of the Business Day papers on page 31, Southern governors pick September 1 deadline for Southern governor picks September 1 deadline for enhancement of anti-open grazing law. We can get it on page 31 of the Business Day papers, and on same page 31, Supreme Court adjourns hearing in $15 billion petrol union fraud case till October 7th.
All right, thank you very much, and that's much we can take. Well, sorry we couldn't take all the papers. I'm sure since I read them out to you, might as well check them out. And for more news updates, you can log on to Lagoon.news to catch up with the more news and happenings in the country. And you might want to show your friends and family what you've heard yourself. So you might want to log on to our TV channel, LagoonTV. Share with your family and friends. Listen via our website on www.lagoonradio.ng for more info and entertainment here 24/7. But you can like and follow us on Facebook at Lagoon Radio Nigeria, on Instagram at Lagoon Radio NG. Thank you very much, Abigail. Thank you, my producer. And thank you to my very able listener out there. You are the best. And those watching me on YouTube and Facebook, gracias. Good morning once again.
Namaste.
You are listening to Lagoon Radio.